Life has brought along a new challenge, and pretty much every time I've been forced into some kind of change, it doesn't take long before I am thinking, oh, gosh, I wish I would have forced myself into that change a long time ago. Mm, uh, laundry detergent. I'm doing some laundry. I think I'm allergic, which is not a good thing. Imagine that. All your laundry has been run through that laundry detergent and you're going to wear it. So forced into a new life. Going to have to move out of this very convenient, comfortable, pampered existence where I was paying about half or less of what market can get for this place. Some of the best little apartments down here in South Mission. And so it's been a wonderful 10, 12 years. And then prior to that, it was South Korea for another 4 wonderful years where I lived on an island up to like Hawaii up the south end. Lived in 4 different places over there. But I think the Seoul was great. Seoul was great for a year. I mean, that was quite an experience. But I lived on an island off the south end, and they call it the Hawaii of South Korea, and it is awesome. I mean, it's orange farms and some other farms, and unfortunately, they have dog farms. They actually do eat dog there. And when I first arrived on Jeju-do, just means Jeju Island. Do means island. I was sicker than a dog. How's that for a pun? So, my new administration, they already had this plan, so it didn't matter whether it had nothing to do with me being sick. But they took me out for dinner. And of course, guess what they fed me? Dog soup. Now, I hadn't been living on the island yet. I had lived in 3 other places in South Korea, but I'd never seen the dog farms. I don't know if they have them. They probably do elsewhere. But Jeju is famous for dog farms. And I'm really not going to tell you any more about the dog farms. Um, it's horrible. You can Google it yourself if you really want to get repulsed and feel bad about humanity. And the Koreans, they're not. I mean, other than that, and I think so. I've hypothesized about this. What? How could they have come to this conclusion that eating dog soup is good for your health? And the only explanation I can come up with, and I haven't really done any research on it, but my guess is that during the war, Korean War, everybody was starving. I mean, you should see some of the stuff that Koreans eat. You pick it off the side of the road, it looks like a weed to me. A lot of the stuff they still put on your tables now looks like weeds. But the food in Korea is just fantastic. I mean, other than just move those over. We don't want those. And so my guess is that during the worst parts of the war, when food just wasn't available, and people were suffering seriously from malnutrition, guess what they ate? They ate their pets. And suddenly, magically, they got better. Wow, I feel so much better today after having eaten Fido. It's a hypothesis. I've never asked a Korean about it. I mean, it's a touchy subject. It's similar to talking about World War II, and if you live in Japan, which I did, and I had students, and had husbands and friends killed in World War II, and so some stuff you just don't bring up, and I never did. So I just had to wonder, why would they eat dog soup? Why would they think that that is like a magic elixir that will make you healthy again? Well, that's my hypothesis. The Korean War, starvation, eating your pets, and suddenly feeling a little better because you have some protein in you. Huh? Might actually be an accurate assessment of what really happened there. So anyway, my first year in Korea. Well, no, not my first year in Korea. It was actually my fourth year in Korea. I ended up on Jeju-do Island, and by the time I got there, I had taken the bullet train from Seoul to the south end, and it's amazing. In like 3 hours, you go from one end of the country to the other. And then I got on a boat, and I don't really remember how long that took. It was a while, and you basically open quarters. You're sleeping on the floor next to 400 other people, and but so that's fantastic. It's just like all the what they call jjimjilbangs. Jjimjilbangs. You go out to these spas, and they have men's, they have women's, they have co-ed, and they're in each of these types of spas, there are different dress requirements. And in the men's, you can't wear any clothes. If you try to wear something, you get kicked out. And in the women's, well, I don't know. In the co-eds, obviously. And these are just fantastic places. They really are. I mean, they've got if you've never been to and I think American spas are kind of some kind of scaled down, hopeful version of a Korean spa, because they'll have a dozen different pools with different herbs and different things in the pool, different temperatures. They'll have a dozen rooms, in some of the better places. They'll have a dozen rooms where you go in and you can lay on hot stones in the dark, or you can be in the ice room, or you can, it's just crazy stuff. And so that's it's quite an experience. And the interesting, well, I don't know if interesting, but additional benefit is these things are like 3 US to 7 US, or maybe 8 US, at least when I was there. And you can stay overnight. They have places where you can sleep. Actually, you can sleep anywhere you want. It's fantastic. So we don't have anything like it. I wish we did. I wouldn't spend much time at home. I really wouldn't. In fact, I might not even have a home. And when I was in between homes, when I was switching from one city to another city, I would live in the Jjimjilbangs for whatever it was, a few days. I remember they miscalculated the timing. Let's use the word miscalculated. of when I was supposed to start in Seoul. I had come from another city just south of Seoul. And so my second year I was going to do in Seoul. And they miscalculated. They said, oh, we're not ready for you to start for another week. And fortunately, I'd already spent a year and I'd traveled all around Korea. I know Korea better than most Koreans do. I have completely circumnavigated Korea, and I've been to every island off the coast of Korea within 20 miles. Jeju-do is more like 100 miles, so add that one in. I honestly do. I know Korea better than most Koreans do. So when I got to Seoul and they said, oh, we're not quite ready for you. We need your position starts in a week. Well, I was okay with that. So I just jimjilbonged it and had a great time. And spent some time running with the Seoul Hash House Harriers. I don't know if any of you out there listening to this have ever heard of the Hash House Harriers. It's a running group. They got them all over the world now. And I think it started in, oh, hell, I forget now. Anyway, I think it was some British guys that started it. It doesn't matter. Anyway, running groups all over the world. You go run, you get to the end of the run, you have dinner and drinks, and then you roast each other. You tell stories about what happened on the trail, and it's a great group. And they have, I think they have 17 different chapters in Korea. So for that week, I just thought of it as a vacation. Fantastic. I'm going to stay in jimjilbongs. Going to be living like a freaking king. And I get to go hang out with some very interesting people, most military. Like 99% of the people involved were militaries. And then you had the teachers that were teaching at military schools over there. So that's basically the crew. And what a life. What a life. Who wouldn't want to do that, huh? I can't imagine. So anyway, I've kind of lost track of what I wanted to say, if I actually wanted to say anything. Most of everything I do is just rambling. I don't know if you've noticed, but I never write anything down. I never have a script. So I just say what comes to mind. And unfortunately, the thread gets lost sometimes. But I did have dog soup. And I have to say, I felt worse. The next day, I felt worse. And I don't think it had anything to do with the state of my health. And then, for all the wonderful benefits of living on the Hawaiian island of South Korea, and it's just an amazing experience. Oh my God, it's an amazing experience. Waterfalls, volcanic places. In the summer, the water is 80 degrees and you can see for miles. You go for swims in the ocean for miles. And just a wonderful place. And everybody there is very friendly. And then you get that experience of, it's basically, or it was when I was there, it was basically a farming island. And so I had to travel. My daily commute was along the coast, along the volcanic coast as the waves are breaking. to schools that are 20 miles away. I'm on my little scooter, and I'm going out to teach kids that some of whom don't have shoes. They come to school barefoot. They're farmers' kids, poor orange farmers' kids. Not all of them, definitely not all of them. In fact, a small percentage of them. But nobody worries about that. Fucking magic. Luck. Some guys get really lucky. Mexico City, Antigua, Guatemala, San Jose, Costa Rica, Guachan, Seoul, Busan, and Jeju-do. And I guess you could throw in Missoula, Montana, but I didn't live with a family there. I lived in a fraternity house with some brothers. Oh, the fucking luck some people have. It ain't over. I don't know how old you are, what you're doing, but it's all out there. It's still out there.